Star Trek video games are extremely difficult to make. Through the vast majority of the franchise, everything is about watching someone command a starship, exploring strange new worlds, seeking out new life and new civilizations, and every once in a while, getting in fights. An occurrence that has increased in frequency dramatically as time has gone on and the market has evolved. A lot of past Star Trek games have basically just tried to shoehorn the Star Trek aesthetic into existing genres. Sometimes, like in Elite Force, it works reasonably well, but that is the exception rather than the rule. But some Star Trek games really try and capture what makes the show so great, and a few of them even succeed. Today, I'm looking at one of the games that does perhaps the best job at recreating the feeling of commanding a starship in the Star Trek universe, Bridge Commander. This game literally puts you into the captain's chair, sitting you right down in first person. Every time you want your ship to do something, you'll need to turn and face the appropriate crew member, bring up a context menu, and click the order you want to give them. It might seem a bit awkward, but not only does it work surprisingly well from a user experience standpoint, it adds further to the immersion factor, the feeling that you really are in command of this starship. The game does have a mode where you can take direct control of the ship, but I found that element extremely uninteresting. The indirectness through which you execute commands is a large part of the appeal to me personally. I don't want to hit a button on my keyboard and have the ship turn in that direction. I want to order the crew members sitting at the con to turn the ship. It makes it feel like you are truly in command of a crew, of a vessel. Not just a single godlike entity managing to control everything about this single starship. Like just about every Star Trek game, though, part of me definitely wishes there was at least slightly more focus on non-combat elements. Every key decision I found myself making was related to how I was going to fight enemies. And that's just not what Star Trek's real focus is. The fact that I was a mute protagonist with no real control over story events was also frustrating, but that frustration likely comes from games that would come much, much later than this game's release date. Nonetheless, I can't help but imagine a game like Bridge Commander combined with the dialogue system from a newer BioWare game. That would be the Star Trek game I've always wanted. It's something I hope will be implemented at least on some level into the upcoming VR game. But despite those issues, most of which are related to how the game chose to approach its narrative, almost 15 years after its original release, Bridge Commander still remains head and shoulders above every other Star Trek game on the market. This game really gets what makes Star Trek so exciting, and playing it makes you feel like a Starfleet captain in almost all the ways you'd want to. The lack of player agency is definitely disappointing, especially in a franchise where finding the diplomatic solution is seen as a worthy challenge, not a cop-out. But this game is so engaging in its moment-to-moment gameplay that chances are you won't notice you're missing it all that often. Every Monday, I look at a game that was released at least 10 years ago, what I would consider to be retro, and I see if it's held up today, if it's still worth playing now. If you like that idea, be sure to subscribe so you can see the latest videos. If you like this video in particular, be sure to hit that like button, and thanks for watching.